Hi everyone, welcome to PowerShell for Penetration Testers at Pentester Academy. In this video, we move into the post-exploitation phase of the penetration testing methodology we are using. Recall that while discussing the methodology, we had a look at it as a cyclic process. That is, we would repeat all the processes after a post-exploitation occurs. That is, whenever we get access to a machine inside a domain or whenever we have escalated our privileges, we will repeat the enumeration, information gathering, scanning, exploitation, vulnerability analysis, everything. We will try to do it again so that we can have better results. After discussing so many methods of exploiting of exploitations or you getting access to client machines, we can safely assume that we would be able or we are able to have access to a domain machine with local administrative rights in our test domain. So let's start with domain enumeration. We will use Power View from Power Tools set of scripts and tools. Power View is very useful in mapping domain trusts and gathering information about a domain and its components. It is written by Will and is part of the 4 tools or toolkits which we say we will use frequently in this course. So let's start. Let's assume that, as I said, we can assume that we have been able to get access to the to this domain PC which we have been targeting frequently, and now we can push all our tools on this machine. So let's use get command to see what all is available with Power View. So there are a large number of functions available, and let's have a look at only those which according to me are more useful in a penetration test. So let's begin with getting details about the domain controllers. As you can see, these are the details of the domain controller for current domain. It is a Windows Server 2012 R2 machine. This is the domain name. This is the IP address of our domain controller and a couple of more details. So not very, it's not really tough to use it. You just import the module and start your enumeration. Let's list the machines in this domain. So this is a really small lab domain, so there are just 2 machines. This one is our domain controller and this one is the current machine on which we are sitting. So we have enumerated the domain controller, the domain computers. Now let's have a look at all the users in this domain. So this is the detail of all these users. Note that we are currently running as domain user, which is just a normal user, and it is not part of any domain admin group. And here, if you want to have a look only at common names of the users, you can list that property as well. So there are just these users in this domain. You can always pass username to it to see details of only a single user. So these are the details of the user with which we are currently running. Now let's see that how could we enumerate the groups in a domain. So we can get all the groups in a domain using just the getnet groups command. So these are the groups on this domain, and if we run just getnet group and not groups, it would list the members of the domain admins group. So the user administrator is a part of the domain admins group. We can always play more with these commands. These could be used for really interesting data mining. Now let's list all the file servers on a domain. File servers could be really useful targets, and with so many users logging into at a time, that if we are able to get access to a file server, it is almost sure most of the times there would be a domain admin or a user with higher privileges logged into it. So let's list file servers on this domain, which are none, unfortunately. So let's move on. Let's get actively logged on users on a machine. Note that unlike the other ones here, not unlike, even in the other ones, privilege would have made a big difference, but here, without the privilege to enumerate or to contact that machine with privileges, we may not get desired results. For example, let's first get logged on users on our local machine, which is fine. But if we want to list logged on users on the domain administrator, on the domain controller, it is not possible because we lack those privileges. So that is all for this video. If you are enjoying your time at Pentester Academy, please recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the information security community.